A teenage fugitive in handcuffs.
What do you have to say to Vilene White's family?
On the run for almost 2 days, but this afternoon, police swarmed the 16-year-old's home and marched him down his driveway.
What do you have to say about what you and your friends did? Are you tough preying on an innocent grandmother?
This is how the major manhunt came to an end. Almost a dozen police, including specialist officers, arriving quietly with no sirens or lights to this home at Bellbird Park. Inside,
I got a feeling they're going to go woke. I feel it. I can just feel it.
These are wanted over the stabbing of 70-year-old Vilene White.
What do you have to say about what's happened today?
No, I don't want to talk about that. When this particular animal stabbed my wife, right? He stabbed 4 of us in the heart.
Vilene's heartbroken family, her husband of 50 years, Victor, and her daughter, Cindy, say family was her world.
Mum would do anything for anybody. She would literally, move heaven and earth for us.
In all, 5 young males have now been arrested after police released this video of a carload of suspects calling for witnesses.
The first breakthrough came last night at 9:30 when a 15-year-old boy handed himself into police. Detectives say he wasn't involved in the murder, but he is facing stolen car charges.
The teenager is accused of being among these 4 captured on cameras, dumping Vilene's Hyundai Getz at Brunny Street at Springfield Lakes before they all casually walked down the street just 20 minutes after the grandmother was stabbed to death in front of a 6-year-old girl.
Look, sadly, the motive was to steal a Hyundai Getz. So I stand before you today, talk to you about a murder of a grandmother. The result was a stolen Hyundai Getz.
Arrests coming today after relentless help from the public, still in mourning, following the senseless, incomprehensible loss of a much-loved wife, mother and grandmother. Jacob Chico.
Now, Fisherman and talks a lot of shit about the glider women and shit, right? Right? About, like, are glider women supposed to stop this? Are you tasking them with? Is this little girl that she prays here? Is supposed to be like? Is this supposed to be like an episode of like Game of Thrones where she's like, "I'll grow up to"? Like, she's like the Stark girl. What's that girl's? Arya Stark, whatever.
Right, or the little one.
Well, what they're supposed to do is get out of the way for like glider men to actually run a proper society. That's really what it is. It's not so much that they're supposed to be foot soldiers. I mean, you saw what happened to that girl on the basketball court, right? They can't be a foot soldier.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate.
Like, if only men were running society, would society look like it does today? Absolutely not. No way. Of course not. No way. If you know those maps where those maps for the electoral college where they're like, oh, if only blank people voted. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think like if it's like only men voted or only white men voted, like almost every state is red.
They found a way to deal with the most dangerous animals on the planet in Australia, but they haven't accounted for this one.
It's all on you, glider. Glider queen.
Gliders deserve what they tolerate, right? That's what it is.
Uncle Frank going once, Uncle Frank going twice, Uncle Frank going 3 times. Got it.
Loss of a much-loved wife, mother and grandmother. Jacob Chico, 9 News.
Let's go straight to Jacob Chico now at Diamanto. Jacob, new charges expected shortly.
Andrew, no charges yet this evening as we go to air, but just half an hour ago we saw police bring one of those teenagers here to the Diamanto police station, where this evening he will face intense questioning and then shortly after face those charges. All 5 in custody tonight. They're all teenagers. 4 of them are just 16 years old. And then there's that 15-year-old boy who turned himself into police last night. This evening, police, they wanted to reassure the public that they'd be throwing absolutely everything at this investigation. And that's exactly what they have done. Tonight, they are still piecing together this puzzle. It still isn't clear which one of those teens actually carried out the attack. But tonight, there is some comfort for Vilene's family that the group responsible is behind bars. Melissa?
Jacob, thank you. And you can see more from that exclusive interview with the family of Vilene White in A Current Affair straight after the news. Let's go live to Claire Todhunter now at the Ipswich Magistrates Court. Claire, what happened there?
Well, we'd love to tell you, Melissa, exactly what happened in the Children's Court today. And we did fight for that permission from the magistrate all day. However, when the time did come for that 15-year-old boy to have his mention heard, the magistrate did rule that Children's Court would remain closed to the media. Our application denied as the magistrate ruled in favour of the 15-year-old's legal representation, who claimed it would be prejudicial because the child would feel daunted by having journalists in that courtroom, also raising concerns about video footage that had been released by police. What we can tell you, though, is what that 15-year-old is accused of, and that's of using that blue Hyundai Getz that was taken from the scene when Vilene White was stabbed to death on Saturday night. He's charged with 1 count of unlawful use of a motor vehicle. Now, this has, of course, shaken the Redbank Plains community. A petition to increase regular police patrols at the shopping centre has more than 2,500 signatures garnered in just a day. Residents telling 9 News today of their concerns as a floral tribute grows at the centre.
It's a terrible thing to happen in our community, but what can we do? The penalties that are dished out by the courts aren't good enough.
This here just goes to show, the kids of today are just out of control.
The kids of today, he's acting like they're his kids. You mean the Sudanese immigrant kids? Out of control? Is that what you mean?
Yesterday in the evening, I spoke to Cindy, and she said, I'm with you. We are on the same side. We want.
Wow. The audacity of this guy to say he spoke to that dead woman. And she said, she sends a message, don't be mad at sons. Cindy's message from the beyond is, don't be mad at us. It's all good, baby, baby. The audacity.
Yesterday in the evening, I spoke to Cindy, and she said, I'm with you. We are on the same side. We want to see accountability. We want to see justice. And we want to see peace. We want to see unity in our community.
Mum's legacy will live on in peace. One of her things, even with family fights, and not as normal families do, her thing was pursue peace with all diligence. And she was never one to be prejudiced. She was, always look for the best in people. And I think the thing is, Benny has done an amazing job in the community. I've heard nothing but great stories from everywhere. So, people come to Australia. It's a land of opportunity. And
what is this woman whose mother was just stabbed to death in front of her 6-year-old granddaughter talking about? What is she talking about?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable, man. Just ridiculous. Honestly, her mom just got friggin' deleted by a proto-human, and she's just
she's praising this guy. She's praising
unbelievable,
this guy.
Dude. It really is like Bizarro World. It's like a fucking simulation. Could you imagine a Chinaman doing this shit? No way. That would never happen.
In China, no. In America,
in China,
yes,
they just come China, out. No. Oh, don't be prejudiced against these people. Come on.
What is she talking about?
Benny has done an amazing job in the community. I've heard nothing but great stories from everywhere. So, people come to Australia. It's a land of opportunity. And my dad come from Malta.
I'm gonna play that video next. I got it. Thank you, Frank, whatever. Meet Frank.
Something in like the glider genome, like there's like a fucking protein that's been deactivated or something. Like there's just something going on where like they can't like come together as a group like other groups do. There's just like something's going on in the genome. I just can't understand it.
Yeah.
Does anyone get angry?
I mean,
I get that feeling that no one knows how to, they don't know how to properly get angry. Like anger is a normal emotion.
Right.
You know, righteous anger is something that should be, it's something that always should be considered whenever you're facing stuff like this, because it makes you face the reality of how terrible the situation is, and that you actually it creates a sense of urgency that I must do something, because what I have in front of me cannot stand any longer. It's like they've been, I don't know what it is. Like, I guess as a kid you were taught how to properly be angry, how to not carry out your anger in certain ways, to form it in some way that's constructive. But it seems like no one gets angry.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like you would expect like it wasn't like he was like speeding for an elevator, bumped her mom, and because she was so old, she fell, broke her hip, and went to the hospital, and while she's getting a hip replacement, she died during certain. They stabbed her to death for a Honda in front of her 6-year-old granddaughter. Like, if you can't get angry about that, there might be something like wrong, like as far as like I would say chemically wrong with gliders. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like it's almost like an unwritten like societal rule though. Like you just can't, like you just have to treat sons differently because they are different. That's basically the unwritten rule.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Like you see the same thing for Asian people when they get like deleted as well. Like they just don't respond in the way you would probably want them to, right? But if something happens to a son from a white person, then like they can, respond however they want. So it's just like this unequal application of the rules here.
Isn't it male figures that actually teach us how to properly manage our emotions? Because it's women that teach children how they soothe them, but men are supposed to teach them how to regulate their emotions. Like there is a time that you need to calm down. There's a time you must get angry, because if you don't get angry, you're just gonna cope in a way that's not constructive. Anger can be a constructive thing. It just seems like a lot of these instances where people, you're facing all this tragedy, no one gets angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's because they don't. It's just become illegitimate to express that anger at a particular group. I think that's really what it is.
And they're
like you can get
themselves.
angry and say like, "Oh, our kids are out of control," but you can't get angry and be like, "Oh, these son kids are out of control." You see what I'm saying?
I mean, well, if they have to be, and that's another thing, being honest with yourself. If that's honestly what's going on, and you must get angry, then it's imperative that you get angry at what is causing all the problems. It's an imperative to get angry at a group that's causing all these issues. If you don't do it, then you're lying to yourself, and the problem just gets exponentially worse until it hits a point where some people you'll run to a generation that says, you know what, fuck it. I don't care. I don't care about whose feelings are hurt at this point. I think we're gonna hit that point soon enough.
Genetic Freak says, "Salute, Ak. Liderman sounding a lot like sons during slavery. Ooh, Lord, the Jews come done took my country. What we's gonna do?" The Sandman got the answer, bro. Sandman was right all along.
We've got different nationalities in here. We've all come for a better life, to provide for our families, to escape horrors of and unimaginable things. And I would hope that if Australia was the countries that suffer this, we could take refuge in another country and be safe and not be targeted because we're a different colour. Mum always said if I died, no one would care. And sorry, Mum, you sort of got a bit of a spotlight now. And you know what? If this is for one reason only, it's to pursue peace.
Unbelievable.
Two people from two worlds stand as one.
Look how tall he is, yo. You letting all these tall, like these giant Sudmen. Like it's one thing we're letting little 5'2" fucking burritos in the country, whatever. You're letting giant Sudmen into your country? Yikes. That's terrifying, man. They're all like 6. The short ones are like, listen, I'm a midget. In Sudanese, I'm a midget. Straight up. Crazy. Yo, you gliders are crazy, man. This is just like, are you serious? You gotta be fucking kidding me.
You can see Cindy and myself here. We are united.
Benny and I are on the same page. We want the same thing.
That is the murder of Ipswich grandmother Vilene White, not divide the community.
It's for one reason only. It's to pursue peace. Please don't think my heart hasn't broken, but I'm on a mission to change things.
Since a 16-year-old boy of African descent was accused of stabbing Vilene at the shops, the local African community has been targeted with vile racist attacks.
It's a lot of us.
Who believes that? Press one if you believe they've been targeted with vile racist attacks.
That's cap.
Yeah, I think a couple of white people said Mifflin Flustering Buckle, and they were like, oh my God, we're being attacked. Flim Fluster Buckle, Dim Dolly Doom, or whatever the fuck you gotta say when you get fed. Glider said, Dolly Dim Dolly Fuckers, and African overheard him and said, oh shit, we being attacked, call the news, man.
Verbal abuse, go back, you the monkeys, you shouldn't be in this country.
Cindy says Vilene would never have wanted to be at the centre of such hate.
She was never one to be prejudiced, always look for the best in people.
We need to send a message out there that hate has no place here.
Wow, the audacity.
He's slick with the words. He's slick.
Yeah, this is a time to hate.
Oh my God!
A woman gets killed for a car. She died in such a reckless and foolish manner. No, they gotta get angry. I mean, they need righteous. They need to know what righteous anger actually is. And they know if they're not going to do that, then this is just going to continue.
The gliders don't understand how sons are too. Like our predatory nature, we can't help but to notice, like, whoa, shit, sweet over it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we the more you sweet, the more you make it worse on yourself. Like gliders think, okay, we'll appease them, we'll coddle them, we'll cajole them, we'll meet them where they're at, we'll try to have dialogue, we'll try to. All that is like making you pray. That's literally like a fucking. You got like a fucking ravenous snake in your fucking yard. And it's like, and you're like a fucking rabbit just pouring barbecue sauce on yourself and shit. Just like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah, no, gliders just don't get it. They just don't understand it, man.
Wow.
Has no place here.
As the outpouring of grief continues to flow through tributes here for Vilene, it's apparent that this community is united in both heartbreak and anger. Regardless of race or religion, they all want the same thing, justice for Vilene.
It's not about the color of my skin or the color of your skin. The reason why my heart is...
Yes, it is. It's all about that. It's all about the fucking coding of your DNA.
Justice for violence.
Hey, there's a couple of things about this. I mean, it's so unfair to this poor woman that now, instead of, her mother being at the forefront of this brutal crime, her grieving process, now she has to go over here and be some sort of a fucking, standing up against racism. And that's now at the forefront of this story, not her mom. That's number one. Number two is that somehow they made themselves out to be the victims when they're the ones that killed the glider. And if it was a glider that killed a Sudanese, there will be never a press conference that says, please don't blame all of us gliders. And then a bunch of sons coming to the defense of all gliders. All gliders will be indicted.
Yep.
It's such a double standard.
Wow.
The color of your skin. The reason why my heart is really broken is that I have children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their grandmother could have been the one with them here.
So many hearts broken for a much loved woman who lived for her family and her community.
Mum always said if I died, no one would care. Sorry, Mum. You sort of got a bit of a spotlight now.
And her family hopes they can use that spotlight to force real change.
We're all the same. We all need to feel safe.
Steve Hart, 7 News.
Well, let's go straight to Rachel Baxter. Rachel, the husband of Violene White and members of the African community are right now meeting to discuss the youth crime crisis.
That's right, Max. And the Premier was invited to be here tonight. He has decided not to come, but there is a widespread cross-section of the community here, including the African Youth Centre members, which is where this forum is being held. The Ipswich Mayor is here, the local MP is here, and as you say, Violene's husband is here as well. This is the first time since the tragedy that the community has been able to come together. Hundreds of people here tonight. They're angry, they're upset, and they want to talk about the...
Look how tall that woman is. God, you're being invaded by fucking proto giants.
crime crisis. And we spoke to some police officers heading in here tonight who say that they are here to listen.
I'm really delighted just to see what the community would like to ask.
Oh, God.
She's delighted. How can you be delighted about anything after that happened?
Of us, and to see them coming together for some solutions that can be community-led.
And while neither the Premier nor the opposition leader are here tonight, it is certain that discussions like this will weigh heavily at the polls in October. Max?
Rachel Baxter there.
As the state government faces increased pressure on youth crime, the Premier has been accused of trying to shift the blame onto the courts. Stephen Miles's recent comments about magistrates have been labelled gutless by the legal community.
Speaking amid a political storm on youth crime and children's courts being closed, the Premier put the judiciary on notice.
I'm certainly happy in the first instance to talk to her about how we can change that magistrate behaviour.
Comments that prompted a return attack from legal experts who argue judges simply...
Dude, it's fucking pathetic. It literally is just like disgusting. It's just...
I told you I smelled pussy. I smelled it. Yeah. You could just they emanated more than you American gliders, man. They just
the gliders are just like captured people. They're truly captured.
I watched an interview with Jared Taylor a few months ago, and the interview asked him, he goes, why the hell are gliders so fucking weak right now? Why are they so woke and weak? And he brought up a point that that he said that I think the 2 world wars, they like really demoralized gliders with all that fighting. Yeah, it really, they said that they had no fight left in them after that.
I mean, basically, after World War II, it became basically illegitimate to have a homogenous white country, essentially.
Yeah, I don't agree with it being World War II because gliders fought every corner of the planet for centuries. Like, so 2 world wars that lasted 4 years ain't nothing. I think.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't. Okay, so think of it this way: we have like, let's just say we have like 10,000 killings every year, right, or whatever. But that one day in September 11th that only killed 3,000 had a much bigger impact psychologically. And same with the World War I and World War II. It was such a confined space and time frame with that many nations, particularly white nations, going to war and killing each other, must have did some psychological damage.
Hold on, man. The Hart-Celler, I think the Hart-Celler Immigration Act did more in 100 world wars. And whatever the Immigration Act that invited all these African giants over there did worse than any world war, man.
But the impetus,
right?
though,
But the reason why that happened is because of the demoralization of gliders. That's how come that.
Exactly. Like after World War II, it wasn't so much the fighting in World War II. It was more like the Holocaust, which basically like set the, the seeds that, oh no, if we have like homogenous white nations, then we'll get a Holocaust every 20 years. So we got to, prevent that from happening again. And then that kind of evolved into the Hart-Celler Act. And now we have fucking these Sudanese tearing the shit out of Australia.
Behaviour.
Comments that prompted a return attack from legal experts who argue judges simply enforce laws written by government.
They're using it as a weak, unprincipled and gutless attack on the judiciary simply because this government's got its back up against the wall on a law and order crisis.
The legal community says if politicians don't like how laws are being applied,
the government have the power to change the Youth Justice Act and the government have the power to change the Bail Act.
The Premier wouldn't front cameras today, but told 7 News if the legal community is saying we need to change the law to reduce magistrate discretion, I will consider that.
For justice to be done, it has to seem to be done. And we will reopen the Children's Court to the media because that's the way that we can have more transparency.
It's about time the courts start to do what the community want.
The police union has said it wants to see ankle monitoring bracelets used on all youth who are released on bail, a call that's been closely echoed by Violene White's.
Wow, so they don't even have ankle monitors on these Sudanese criminals.
It's here in an underground car park that Violene White was stabbed and killed. A 16-year-old was charged overnight with murdering the Ipswich grandmother before allegedly fleeing with her car. The accused teenage killer was finally arrested on.
Hit the like button, you only get it here. Hit the like button, you only get it here. Australia, Queensland, gliders getting their fucking asses kicked in over there down under, even worse than in America.
Monday, ending the days-long manhunt. Today, his charge was mentioned in Ipswich Court. No family were present. Police found the knife used in the alleged attack on the road, not far from where the grandmother's stolen car was found. In courts across the southeast, 4 other teenagers appeared charged with a variety of other offences, including stealing.
And the fact that they just threw the knife on the ground somewhere near the car, it's like they're not even trying to be like cat burglars or sneaky. There's no fear of the criminal. Like, you're supposed to be afraid. Like, somebody's supposed to, like, keister that fucking thing because, like, yo, we can't get caught with this knife, man. We got to kill this old lady, man. Somebody keister this thing, man. They stood on the fucking ground. They don't give a fuck.
On the road, not far from where the grandmother's stolen car was found. In courts across the southeast, 4 other teenagers appeared charged with a variety of other offences, including stealing and unlawful use of a car. The African community is reporting an increase in racist attacks.
More than 50 people since yesterday, community members, are reporting to me that either they have been yelled at or abused, or they have the bottle thrown at them.
Police are calling for calm.
Can I say that a number of these youth were brought in?
Who believes that white Australians are throwing bottles at 7-foot sunmen that are driving all the crime in their country? Who believes that?
And also, just the fact that all these sons are committing all this crazy ass crimes, and they're all the glider media and stuff, they don't want to point that out, so they'll say youth crime when they should be saying son crime. But the sons have no problem making it about race, talking about we're being under attack because of racism.